This is the video review for Transformers Prime Deluxe Class Optimus Prime. This figure came in a 2-pack with Megatron. It was called the Entertainment Pack. And included with Prime and Megatron were a little Miko, Jack, and Raph figure. These are little statuettes and they don't really do anything. It also comes with a DVD of Masters and Students. This is the, I think 4th episode? It's the episode after... It's the episode where Skyquake is introduced. It's the episode after Darkness Rising. And this is Optimus Prime himself. He's an interesting figure. He has a lot of good points about him. Mostly that everything on him stays together very well. He's a very well-constructed figure, although... well, he has some aesthetic problems and some problems with his feet. As for aesthetics problems, his head is strangely flat. Now that would be fine if he didn't have his face played up, but it seems like it should go out just a little bit more. It looks kind of stunted. Honestly, kind of young. I mean, honestly, this figure will stand in as my Orion Pax Transformers Prime Optimus Prime figure. If you've seen the show, you'll know what I mean about Orion Pax. Whereas the Voyager version will be Optimus Prime for me. He has his hinge here, he has this hanging behind. The shoulders are hinged really low and in a really strange place compared to the outward hinge. His arms are really long. On this one, this part is gray, so it looks like he has his sleeves rolled up. And yeah, I mean, those are the things that look weird about the guy. And what makes it hard for him to stand is if you see his feet. Well, for one, he has this peg here, and then there's a step in, and then it goes forward. His instep isn't flat, so he can't just sit on his instep very well. It'll cause him to tilt forward and back, and it'll cause him to fall around a lot. So you really need to work to balance his instep, and that is a shame. Now, it wouldn't be a problem because he has the hinge to do this, have that kind of movement, but when you have the leg collapse down all the way, it's blocked by the part of the leg back here. And that's a shame, because it could have had really nice foot articulation that wouldn't require his instep to be quite so precisely made. For his articulation, his head is ball jointed, left, right, up, down. It's a pretty free ball joint. Arms go forward, back, out, and that came undone. Now that will happen with this figure sometimes. I notice it only happens when I move this up and down when his shoulder is straight. I think it has something to do with just how tight that shoulder is, because how tight the in out on that shoulder is, because it's not a problem on this side. I mean, granted, it is a problem that this comes on, it detaches, but I'm not quite sure what can be done about that. If you'll notice, I already did some cuts so that I could sit in closer, and it does help, but I suppose the best thing to do would just be put some super glue in there. Let's see, you have a bicep swivel, 90 degrees at the elbow, then you have the hand, which is on the ball joint, and then you have a waist swivel that's kind of neutered by these plates back here. Legs go forward, back, blocked by the plates again a little bit. He has a rotation above the knee. You can get 90 at the knee. And then his foot. I've already talked about how it's not quite what it should be, but you can, if you need to, bend this a little bit. I haven't noticed a way to use that, but it's there if you need it. And the foot can go quite a ways forward. Can't go back any further, but can go forward. So, He can do good poses, you just have to work at them. And then let's see, he has his gun here, and this is pretty interesting. I mean, it almost looks like he doesn't have a hand. You can see his fingers under here, but the gun covers so much of his hand. But I think that's kind of interesting. I don't know why it was done that way. I don't remember it being like that in the show, but what do I remember? And now to actually transform this guy is pretty interesting. And, so I gotta get the lights fine one way, and then it shows another weakness in the lighting. I'm still learning lighting. So to transform this guy, it's pretty interesting. I like his transformation, it's clever. To start off, pull these forward. The way these tab in is that you'll see a little notch here and a little tab here. This notch is slid under that tab, and then there's a little peg here and a little hole here. And when you slide this under here, it'll force that peg into that hole in there, and that will kind of hold it. So bring these forward, collapse them together. Rotate them so when this is flat like this, the shoulder pads will be facing inward. Open these out. Rotate the legs around and pull them back. That'll give you room to put that where it needs to go. And then you can push the arms together like that. And we'll need to bend them at this joint to there, and then fold these plates forward until they tab into the grill. Fold in to tab into the grill. And then the hands will just lay up in there. Fold the head back and flip this in, and there are little tabs here and here and holes here and here in the chest. Push those together. And then we'll fold these down and out, and there's a little peg here and a hole in there. We'll push these in, and then there's a little tab right there, and the hole on the inside of this wheel well. Just slide them until they go together. It can be a little bit hard to get them aligned. I got lucky. And do the same over here. Slide them until they go together. Hey, gearhead. And then what we need to do is deal with the back, with the legs, and this is pretty interesting. Fold the feet up into the spoiler and detab the feet from here. Fold out the trailer hitch. Oh, what's interesting about this trailer hitch is, although it's gray and doesn't quite match with the blue, there's a similar detail on the other side. Tab the legs together. And tab together the spoiler. And then what you will do is you will bend here 90 degrees and bend here all the way flat. Bring this up, and these shin pieces here will kind of clip into the sides of the sleeper. And then the spoiler will tab onto the top. Take the smokestacks, pull them back. And here we have Optimus Prime in his very nice truck mode. I really like that transformation. It's really well done. I really like this vehicle mode. It's really well proportioned. It's a really nice way to have a non-shell forming. Well, it has a little bit of shell forming going on, but for the most part, it's not just big shells. To have a non-shell forming, long nose tractor trailer. I mean, there in deluxe size. I mean, there was the Deluxe Dark of the Moon Prime, that Walmart exclusive, but that had well, that had the nose just hanging on the back, and it was a lot smaller figure than this. So I'm impressed. I really like how they did this. And then the gun here can just sort of set on the back. And yeah, I mean, the robot mode's kind of weak, but the transformation, I really like it. And its truck mode, except for a gap right in there, it's pretty flawless. I really like it. And one interesting thing to note is that the Voyager version of Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime, the back transforms the exact same way. The feet come from the top, the trailer hitch folds in there, these shin pieces come forward. I mean, just looking at the pictures, there may be a couple twists that I'm not seeing, but the back end looks exactly the same, just bigger. So the only difference between this and the Voyager version will be how the front transforms and the size. So yeah, this has been Transformers Prime, Optimus Prime. I really like him. He's not the best, but he's pretty good. Thank you for watching.